Hey guys, this is the Ecobee 4. I got this to replace my Nest. I'm going to unbox it for you, install it, and give you a quick review on it. So since this is my replacement for my Nest, I'll be comparing those two a good amount since I just unboxed that recently. I'm sad to say that the Ecobee box is not as high quality as the Nest. The Nest was created by the guy who made the iPod, so I understand that. But let's keep going in there. That doesn't mean the product is worse. So we're immediately presented with the Ecobee and then the sensor that comes with it. The unit's pretty light and it's made of plastic, not as high quality as the Nest. Whether it's on the box or in the software, you'll find lots of bee references. In a small slot here we have the back plate for the Ecobee if you have a larger thermostat and you need to cover up the holes. Then we have all of our paperwork. And this will be a sticker to label your wires. Once you take them out of your current thermostat, you won't want to forget where they were. And this is a physical manual it comes with, just to step you through the installation. This tells you how to install the little sensor in another part of your house. And this is a power adapter for if you don't have a C wire. The C wire is how you actually power the unit. This will allow you to power it without having one. Included screws and wall anchors. This is a clear mount for the external sensor. And then we have our back plate. This is where the wires will plug in. As you can see, it has a nice level there. It's really important to make sure it's level because you can tell when the unit is not level from a mile away. On the actual Ecobee device, you'll see there's a small speaker in the back. That's going to be for Alexa. This is how the back plate fits in. On the front here, you'll have a little light for Alexa when it's listening. And there are two small microphones on the left and right of the screen for Alexa. And that is the pull tab for the sensor. First things first, I have to remove my Nest back plate. Once off, I can put on the Ecobee back plate. And then I'll pop on the back plate for the wiring. And then I'll tighten it against the wall. Now I'll install the labeled wires into the corresponding slots. Same as the Nest, the Ecobee needs the wires to be pretty flat. And then you just pop it on, you'll hear a nice snap. Once you flip the breaker back on, the Ecobee will say hi, and the setup will begin. The R wire is important, so they want to make sure you have it in the right terminal. Then you'll choose the location of your thermostat. If it's not there, you can just choose enter your own. Since the Ecobee has a touchscreen, I find using your phone is slower than just entering the password. Once connected to Wi-Fi, you'll head over to the app and enter the code on the unit. This is the pull tab that I was showing you earlier. Once that's pulled, it'll connect to the unit. I'm going to install the clear back stand. So first I need to pop that out. And the clear stand will just pop in its place. And there we have it. The reason I purchased the Ecobee is for the HomeKit compatibility, so you won't have to use the app very often, and thankfully so, because the app feels slightly thrown together. Right there you'll see the two sensors and the actual temperature that it's at. This is the range that you want it to stay within. Clicking this icon will allow you to choose heat cool, auto, or auxiliary heat. This is the button to enable Alexa. Since I have HomePods throughout my house, I decided not to enable it. This is the first settings menu that they call quick changes. Everything's kind of separated and disjointed. This will show you the current equipment that's running, which is nice to see what's going on. For some reason, they decided to give you a weekly weather forecast here. I don't think this is very useful. And this is the second settings menu. You'll have a lot of duplicate items like this HVAC where you can choose heat, cooler, auto again. This is the fan run time, which you'll also be able to access in the first settings menu. This is the section for sensors where you'll be able to enable the Smart Away feature and the Follow Me feature with the extra sensor. It will also give you the temperature of the external sensors. The schedule is decently convenient. It's nice for sleep temperatures. The only downside is it will not adapt automatically to your schedule like the Nest does. This is where you choose the temperatures that you want for if you're home, away, or sleeping. I do enjoy the reminders on the Ecobee. It can tell you when the auxiliary heat is running more than the regular heat, and that's good to know when you have a dual heat system like I do, so you're not actually using more energy in the end. Unfortunately, the Ecobee app is really disjointed, and it just feels like everything is thrown together. The separate settings menus seem pointless. There's no reason to have two of them. It feels like they just need an extra button on the bottom row. And the scheduling features they do include are not very helpful. The sleep temperature is nice, but there's no way to have it automatically figure out what your schedule is and adjust to it. But thankfully, even with all these downsides, the best part is that you can use HomeKit. So you'll never have to really go into the app because you'll be able to access all the temperatures through the Home app or in the Control Center. Everything in the Home app is very user-friendly and polished. So if you give access to your family or friends, they'll be able to access the temperatures straight through the Control Center, and that's really cool. On top of that, you can include the thermostat inside of your scenes, whether it be location scenes or nighttime scenes. So when you leave or come home, it can automatically adjust the temperature for everyone in the house because the scenes are pretty smart. Plus, the occupancy sensor and the motion sensor built into the thermostat and the external module can be used for HomeKit scenes, which allows for unlimited possibilities. What I'm showing you right now is where you can choose the home that you want to put your thermostat in, and you can also customize scenes through here. I recommend leaving this alone and just doing it straight through the Home app. Everything in here is twice as confusing as it needs to be. The other thing I wanted to mention was the settings issue that the app has, the unit has even more. After you mess around with it for a little while, you'll figure out that the unit actually has more settings on it than the app does. So that means you have to get up and go to the unit if you want to adjust certain settings. And unfortunately, I think the most important settings are on the actual unit. Some of these include equipment testing, which will allow you to make sure that everything is hooked up properly and working, and also thresholds. When you have a dual heat system, you want to make sure the thermostat is handing off to the right equipment, and you can only adjust that on the thermostat. The actual build quality of the Ecobee doesn't compare in any way to the Nest, and since the display is black plastic, it leaves a lot of fingerprints behind if you touch it. The build quality and the way you interact with the Nest is just better, but the lack of HomeKit on the Nest is a deal breaker. And with HomeKit integration, I'm not forced to use the Ecobee app, and it's a thermostat, so I really don't ever have to touch it if I don't want to. And that is why I've chosen the Ecobee 4 over the Nest, and I will be keeping it.